exactly is crisis communications? Because we are aware that there are many folks in data protection who may or may not be exposed to the importance of crisis comms.
I think crisis is something we all hope will never happen. But ultimately, it's not a matter of if it will happen, it's truly when it's going to happen. Think about it, we prepare for our data breach plan, and we have a wonderful plan which covers the operational aspect of it, the legal and the HR aspect of it. But oftentimes we fall on the last hurdle, which is the comms aspect of it. So execute the communication to our partners well, internal and external partners. And that's where we fall down. So it doesn't matter how wonderful your plan is, but if it's not communicated, it's really a waste.
There's really nothing technical about communicating during a crisis. It is actually very common sense. But unfortunately, common sense flies out the window somehow during a crisis, and a lot of companies, a lot of leadership within companies tend to try and put their heads inside a hole and say, if we don't say anything, maybe they won't notice. The main thing that people need to understand is that people want information during a crisis, and in this day and age with social media, if you being the person in the center of a crisis, if you don't say anything, somebody else will. I think the key in crisis comms isn't to react only when there's a crisis involved. Crisis comms begins way before crisis hits. In terms of data protection, every time you take information from the customer, you need to communicate, and that's already part of the building blocks of your crisis communication. How do you communicate to the customer about why and you're taking their information, what you're doing with the information?
The communication starts at the first point in the information lifecycle where data is being collected, and you communicate using your privacy notice. And you talked about the importance of transparency, because we all hate it when you take our data, you use it, you say it's for one purpose, but you use it for another, right? And to make it worse, somewhere in the life cycle, a breach happens. We got together, right, with the media consultants, we got together with Sharon and Jill, and we thought, wouldn't it be a great idea to put a course together combining crisis comm and data breach response?
Well, I think what makes our course different is that we are very led by practical and actually workshopping through things that you face in your company as well. Whether it's a particular policy that is very hard to understand, or whether, we will get you to really think about your brand, its value, what your company stands for, and even your messaging. We will do it in a very practical way, and we will all role play.
Welcome to the show. Two very interesting guests we're having today from Momo Electronic Shop Online. Now, as you all have heard, they have had a bit of trouble in the news recently, where a lot of SMS messages were sent to their customers demanding money in payment for their services, which was not actually a genuine request. So as many as 35,000 customers fell victim to this prank. So we have got the spokespeople from the company here to give us a bit more insight into this issue.
Everybody goes through crisis. It could be 1 out of 10 good and positive things that you do. So leaving people with a perspective is very important, and it's we can teach you how to come out of it even stronger than before.